No invitation for you, Mom had said 5 years ago, her voice cold as the January night she locked me out. You chose your path. Now I watch them arrive at my sister's wedding venue, the estate I'd bought with cash 3 months ago. And when Dad saw me and sneered, the event coordinator cleared her throat. Mr. and Mrs. Winters, the owner wants to welcome you personally. I stepped forward, and the color drained from their faces like someone had pulled the plug on their superiority. The marble steps of Rosewood Manor stretched before them, the same steps I'd once dreamed of climbing as a guest at my own sister's wedding. Instead, I stood at the top in a custom-tailored suit, watching my family process what their eyes were telling them but their hearts refused to believe. 5 years of silence ended with my mother's whispered Natasha. Welcome to my home, I said, extending a hand they were too shocked to shake. I trust everything is to your satisfaction for Chloe's special day. Dad recovered first, his sneer returning with practiced ease. This is some kind of joke. You're, what, working here? Still pretending you made something of yourself. The event coordinator, Marissa, looked between us with professional confusion. Mr. Winters, I assure you, Ms. Volkov owns Rosewood Manor. She purchased it from the Aldridge estate. We've been preparing for your daughter's wedding under her direct supervision. Volkov? Mom's voice cracked. You changed your name. Winters was yours to give and yours to take away. I smiled, the kind of smile I'd practiced in mirrors during those first brutal months on the streets. Volkov was my mother's maiden name, the one you said I'd never live up to. My sister Chloe appeared in the doorway, radiant in her designer dress, then froze. Tasha, what are you doing here? Security? Security works for me. I nodded to James, my head of security, who stood discreetly by the garden entrance. But don't worry, I'm not here to ruin your wedding. I'm here to ensure it's perfect. After all, I've been planning it for 3 months. The silence stretched like an ocean between us. 5 years collapsed into this moment, them in their finest clothes on my marble steps, me in a position they'd sworn I'd never reach. You're lying, Dad spat. You were nothing. A worthless lesbian who chose some girl over family. You couldn't possibly. On a $50 million estate. I pulled out my phone, showing the deed. Run a tech company worth 10 times that. Funny how being disowned for loving a woman motivated me to prove you wrong about everything else too. Chloe laughed, brittle and sharp. This is insane. You expect us to believe you went from homeless to this in 5 years? Homeless for 8 months, I corrected. Slept in a 24-hour laundromat until I saved enough for a hostel. Learned to code on library computers. Built an app from nothing that solved a problem millions of people didn't know they had. Sold it for $20 million. Invested wisely. Built more. But you wouldn't know any of that because you made it clear I was dead to you the night you found out about Emma. Emma, her name still hurt to say. The girl I'd loved at 18. The one whose picture in my room had signed my eviction notice from my childhood home. Mom had found us kissing. And within an hour, I was on the street with nothing but the clothes on my back and the words "no daughter of mine" ringing in my ears. Where is she? Mom asked quietly. This Emma. Dead. The word fell like a stone into water. Car accident. Year 2 of my exile. I found out through Facebook since none of you thought to tell me. But then why would you? I wasn't family anymore. Mom's hand went to her throat. We didn't know. You didn't care. I cut her off. But that's ancient history. Today is about Chloe. Your wedding planner has been working with my staff. Everything is exactly as you requested, plus a few upgrades on the house. Upgrades? Chloe's voice was small. The champagne is vintage Dom Perignon instead of the Moat. The flowers are fresh from Holland, not local. The string quartet is from the London Symphony, not the city orchestra. Consider it my wedding gift. I paused. Since I wasn't invited to give one in person. You can't buy your way back into this family, Dad growled. I'm not trying to. I looked him dead in the eye. I'm hosting an event at my venue. The fact that the clients are related to me is incidental. After today, you'll never have to see me again. Unless, of course, you book another event here. I do offer competitive rates. Marissa cleared her throat. Ms. Volkov, should we proceed with the welcome tour? Please, I stepped aside. Mr. and Mrs. Winters, Marissa will show you to the bridal suite. Chloe, your bridesmaids are already in the preparation room. The photographer arrives in 40 minutes. They move past me like ghosts, Mom's eyes searching my face for the daughter she'd thrown away. Dad's jaw worked like he was chewing pride and finding it bitter. Chloe just stared, her perfect wedding day suddenly complicated by the sister she helped erase. I retreated to my office, formerly the estate's library, and poured myself a scotch. The monitors showed the wedding preparation in full swing. Staff bustling, flowers being arranged, the cake arriving in all its five-tiered glory. I'd overseen every detail, ensuring my sister's day would be flawless despite our history. My phone buzzed. Marcus, my CFO and best friend. You okay? I can be there in 20. I'm fine, just ghosts and gravity. Cryptic. Very CEO of you. Remember what Dr. Liu said about family encounters. I smiled despite everything. Marcus had seen me through the worst of it, the nights I coded until my eyes bled, the panic attacks when success felt too far away, the therapy sessions where I'd sobbed about Emma and family and the price of being myself. A knock interrupted my thoughts. Come in. To my surprise, it was my grandmother. 92 years old, sharp as a blade, the only family member who tried to contact me after the exile. Her letters had found me eventually, full of love and regret and checks I'd never cashed. Natasha, she said simply, and I was 18 again, scared and alone. Babushka. I stood offering my arm. You look beautiful. And you look successful. She studied me with those piercing blue eyes. Also sad. I'm not sad. I searched for words. Vindicated? She snorted. Vindication is just sadness in a better suit. Sit. Tell me truth. So I did. Told her about the laundromat nights, the first successful code, the venture capitalists who laughed until they weren't. The company I'd built on a foundation of rejection. The money that came too fast to feel real. Buying this estate when I learned Chloe had booked it, the poetic justice too perfect to resist. And Emma? She asked gently. Gone. I showed her the photo I still carried. Her parents blamed me. Said if she hadn't been driving to see me that night, they weren't wrong. They were cruel. Babushka took my hand. Like your parents, cruelty makes people say stupid things. Do stupid things. Like disarming your daughter. Like losing daughter for pride, she squeezed my fingers. They speak of you, when they think no one listens. Your mother keeps your photo in kitchen drawer. Your father has Google alert for your company. Chloe cried for months after you left. They had 5 years to find me. Pride makes prison for everyone, not just you. She stood straightening her dress. Now, you will come to ceremony. Absolutely not. I'm not invited, remember? I invite you, as my +1. And if son has problem, he can throw out his own mother. See how that plays with guests. I laughed, surprising myself. You're a troublemaker, Babushka. Where you think you get it from? Now come, we give them something to gossip about besides bride's dress. The ceremony was held in the rose garden, 300 guests in precise rows, the altar framed by an arbor I'd had specially installed. I sat with Babushka in the back, trying to be invisible, but whispers followed like ripples in water. Is that the older sister? The one they disowned. I heard she owns this place now. Tech money. Can you imagine? Chloe walked down the aisle, and despite everything, my eyes misted. My baby sister, who'd stolen my dolls and shared my dreams, who'd stood silent the night they'd thrown me out. Beautiful in white, marrying a man I'd never met because I'd been erased before she could introduce us. The ceremony was perfect. Of course it was that I'd made sure of it. When they kissed, the string quartet played something hauntingly beautiful, and rose petals fell from hidden baskets I'd had installed in the trees. Chloe's face lit up with surprise and delight. The reception moved to the grand ballroom, transformed into a wonderland of lights and flowers. I tried to slip away, but Babushka held my arm with surprising strength. You stay. Face them with head high. Show them what they lost. So I stayed. Watched from the edges as my family celebrated. Dad's speech talked about family values and the importance of loyalty. Mom cried prettily about her baby girl growing up. No one mentioned the other daughter, the ghost at the feast. During the father-daughter dance, something in me snapped. Not in anger, but in clarity. I'd spent 5 years building myself into someone they'd have to respect, and here I was still seeking approval from people who'd thrown me away for loving wrong. I found Marissa. Have the champagne fountain set up in the conservatory, and asked the quartet to prepare Pachelbel's canon. Ms. Volkov, trust me, 20 minutes later, I took the microphone. The room fell silent, hundreds of eyes turning to the woman who owned the walls around them. Good evening. I'm Mahisha Volkov, owner of Rosewood Manor. I wanted to personally welcome you all to my home and congratulate the happy couple. I raised a glass. Chloe, you look absolutely radiant. James, you're a lucky man. I wish you both all the happiness your hearts can hold. Chloe's face was a masterwork of emotions, shock, confusion, something that might have been regret. As some of you may know, I'm also Chloe's sister. We've been estranged for some years, but that doesn't diminish my joy at her happiness today. Family is complicated. Sometimes it's about blood. Sometimes it's about choice. Sometimes it's about letting go. Dad started to stand, but Mom pulled him down. 5 years ago, I learned that love comes in many forms. Some accepted, some not. I lost my family because I loved someone they couldn't approve of. But that loss taught me something valuable, that the only approval that matters is your own. That success isn't about proving others wrong, it's about proving yourself right. I looked directly at my parents, so thank you for forcing me to find my own way, for teaching me that strength comes from surviving rejection, for showing me that chosen family can be just as powerful as given family. My eyes found Chloe. I hope your marriage is filled with the kind of love that's worth sacrificing everything for. The kind that builds you up rather than tears you down. The kind that stays even when staying is hard. I set down the microphone and walked out, Babushka's proud smile the last thing I saw. In the conservatory, I stood among the orchids and breathed. The fountain bubbled champagne, wasteful and beautiful. The quartet played softly from the ballroom, notes floating like memories. That was quite a speech. I turned. Chloe stood in the doorway, wedding dress pulling around her feet like spilled cream. Shouldn't you be at your reception? Shouldn't you have been at my life? Her voice broke. 5 years, Tasha. 5 years of birthdays and Christmases and regular Tuesdays without my sister. I was disowned, remember? Cast out for the sin of being myself. You left? She stepped closer. You left and didn't fight for us. Fight for you? The laugh that escaped was sharp. I was 18, Chloe. Homeless. Hungry. Fighting just to survive while you all sat around the dinner table pretending I'd never existed. I was 17. What was I supposed to do? Something. Anything. I turned away. But you didn't. None of you did. Mom cried for months. Dad started drinking again. I failed 3 classes because I couldn't focus on anything but your empty room. And yet no one called. No one searched. No one said maybe throwing out your daughter for being gay was wrong. Silence stretched between us, 5 years wide. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so fucking sorry, Tasha. I was scared and young, and I chose him over you, and I've regretted it every day since. Regret doesn't rebuild bridges burned that thoroughly. Then why did you do all this? She gestured at the perfection around us. Why make my wedding perfect if you hate us so much? Because I don't hate you. The truth surprised me. I hate what happened. I hate the choices made. I hate that Emma died thinking she'd ruined my life by loving me. But I don't hate you. You're my sister. That doesn't stop just because you stopped being my family. Chloe was crying now, makeup running and designer streams. Can we try to fix this? I don't know. I handed her a handkerchief. Trust takes time to rebuild, and honestly, I'm not sure I want to be the daughter and sister you all want me to be. I've become someone else. Someone who doesn't apologize for who she loves or how she lives. I don't want you to apologize. I want my sister back. Your sister is back. She's just not the same girl you remember. I touched her shoulder gently. Go, enjoy your reception. Dance with your husband. Be happy. That's all I wanted for today, your happiness. She hugged me suddenly, fierce and desperate. I love you, Tasha. I've always loved you. I let her hold me for a moment, then gently pulled away. Love isn't always enough, Chloe, but it's a start. She left, trailing silk and regret. I stayed among the orchids, watching champagne bubble and fall, thinking about Emma and family and the strange turns life takes. My phone buzzed. Marcus again. Local news picked up your speech. You're trending. Again. I smiled, typing back. Let them talk. I have orchids and champagne and a clear conscience. What more does a disowned daughter need? Family? I thought about it, about Babushka's fierce pride, Marcus's steadfast friendship, my employees who'd become my chosen tribe, The life I built from nothing but rejection and code. I have family, just not the one I was born into. And maybe that's okay. The quartet started a new psalm, something hopeful and bright. Through the windows, I could see the reception continuing, my family celebrating without me just as they had for 5 years. But this time, I wasn't outside looking in. I was inside looking out, surrounded by beauty I'd earned in a home I'd bought, living a truth that had cost everything but given me myself. Tomorrow, they'd leave Rosewood Manor and go back to pretending I didn't exist. But tonight, they'd celebrated in my house, drinking my champagne, surrounded by my success. The girl they'd thrown away had become the woman they couldn't ignore. And if that wasn't the perfect wedding gift, I didn't know what was.